10 WWE wrestlers who have had the biggest downfall in 2025. Number 10. Omos. Omos impressed with his matches against the likes of Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, but this wasn't enough for Triple H to use Omos in a meaningful role on television. It was evident that Omos was a project of Vince McMahon, and when McMahon exited WWE, all creative plans for Omos were indefinitely scrapped. Now, the Nigerian giant impressed in early 2025 with his run in Japan, and it was reported that Omos was brought back to America to once again appear on WWE television. Unfortunately, whilst Omos has reportedly been backstage at key shows, he hasn't been used in any capacity whatsoever. What on earth is WWE doing here? Omos was doing incredibly well with his run in Japan, and pulling him away from that with no creative plans in place is just baffling and frustrating. During a virtual signing with KNS WrestleFest, former WWE star MVP weighed in on how Triple H has booked Omos. I talked to Triple H about how he was being used, and Triple H was adamant that he didn't want to be another Big Show. He didn't want him on TV every week. He wanted him to be an attraction and wanted to break him out periodically. I don't know what his status is now. I don't know what they plan on doing with him. If you can't make money with a 7'3", 385-pound former basketball player that can move, you don't see him move a lot because they don't want him to. When he wants to move, you'd be surprised how well that big man can move. If you can't make money with that, then you're just an idiot. Almost his last match in WWE was in April of 2024 for the Andrade the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Ever since then, he's had no match whatsoever on the card. Not a single match. Our fans have gravitated towards Omos thanks to his out-of-character interviews, as well as his wholesome YouTube channel. The former tag team champion has a lot of support, and for good reason, as he seems like one of the most genuine human beings on the roster. Even names such as The Undertaker have gone on record to say that Omos should be used more on television, but sadly, this has done little to influence WWE's standing on the matter. Number 9. Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is a former Universal Champion, yet based on his presentation on WWE programming, he's presented more as a novelty big man. Strowman's work since returning to WWE in 2022 has been decent, and in every role he's been used, he's done whatever he can do to make it work. But it's highly unlikely that Strowman is ever going to be used in the main event picture again, as Triple H likely doesn't see Strowman the same way he sees names such as Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu. Strowman has now mainly been used in tag team roles throughout the first part of 2025. WWE have to be careful with this stagnant presentation, as they never know when they could need a former world champion to be reinserted in the main event picture. But if he's in the tag division all this time, he's definitely going to lose his star power. Now, Strowman was definitely booked better under McMahon's tenure in the company. They showcased his raw power to perfection, lifting up trucks, tipping over ambulances. It was the best way to showcase his character, but nothing of that magnitude has happened since. Number 8. Solo Sakoa. Just what is going on with the booking and presentation of Solo Sakoa? Sakoa had the greatest year of his career in 2024 as he was cemented as the leader of the new bloodline, and he even main evented SummerSlam 2024 versus Cody Rhodes. While Sakoa's work in these angles received mixed reviews, it was evident that he had something to offer. WWE needed to continue this strong booking well into 2025. Following Sakoa losing to Roman Reigns on the Raw Netflix premiere, Sakoa has lost his spark completely. And the match wasn't anything special, and it didn't exactly imply that Sakoa was going to be a main eventer for years to come, but they attempted to regain some of Sakoa's aura when he attacked Rhodes on SmackDown, yet the storyline was just mysteriously dropped, and this was possibly due to the fans hating the idea of seeing the two feud again. Sakoa is now lingering around SmackDown, and WWE are heavily hinting that he'll feud with new Bloodline member Jacob Fatu. But the issue with that is that Fatu has eclipsed Sakoa in every way possible since he debuted in WWE, and this rivalry could greatly expose Sakoa's in-ring and character work. Number 7. Andrade. Do you ever get that feeling of deja vu? Well, the multi-match series between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes delighted fans in 2024, yet since this ended, Andrade has been barely featured on TV in any capacity. WWE once again re-signed Andrade without any creative plans in place, and this explains why his booking has just been all over the place. Some fans have theorized that his breakup with Charlotte Flair, who happens to be on the same brand, could be a contributing factor, but let's make it clear there are no reports on this at this stage. Andrade has only wrestled 3 singles matches on TV in 2025, and he's only won 1 of these. This is dangerous territory, and if the casual viewers see Andrade as an enhancement talent, then he's going to struggle to regain any momentum, and soon enough the writing may be on the wall for the former NXT champion. Some fans have suggested that Andrade has another run in NXT, which could be smart, as NXT is short of main event level talent. However, with Andrade being re-signed onto the main roster contract, this may not be logical from a business perspective. Andrade has even teased on social media that he's quote-unquote waiting to be used. Was the Speed Championship reign all they had planned for him? Number 6, Chad Gable. Over the past 12 months, Chad Gable has been used as a key name to get talent over. Whilst this is a valuable role, Gable deserves so much more. He's been feuding with Penta for the majority of 2025. Whilst Gable has once again shown the world that he's a main event level star, he should be picking up more wins. Gable has clearly shown that he's able to deliver compelling work, as well as deliver classic matches on virtually a weekly basis, and it's time that WWE embraced Gable and moved him up the card. Number 5, Drew McIntyre. Our fans were collectively alarmed when it was reported that Drew McIntyre would be taking on Damian Priest at WrestleMania 41. Due to McIntyre being the MVP of WWE in 2024, it seemed only natural that McIntyre found himself in a world title match or at least faced a name such as John Cena on the grand stage. It was even reported that behind the scenes, McIntyre was disgruntled with his creative direction, and it was hard to blame him. McIntyre is clearly putting his all into these angles he's been given in 2025, but sadly they just pale in comparison to his work in 2024. McIntyre has gone from a blood feud with CM Punk to trying to create lore and intrigue around the rivalry with Priest. Fans are hoping that McIntyre receives his big push in the summer months, as fans are hoping that McIntyre wins the annual King of the Ring before challenging the world champion at SummerSlam. Whilst this would make up for the poor start to 2025 for McIntyre, him closing out 2025 as world champion would definitely be the right direction as WWE heads into a new year. Number 4, Finn Balor. As Finn Balor made his entrance at the 2025 Royal Rumble, you could hear a pin drop in the stadium. That's how little fans cared about Balor. Balor is the first ever Universal Champion, and although Balor and WWE remind everyone of this each week on Raw, Balor has just lost every ounce of aura and credibility. He's lost every major rivalry over the past 8 years, ranging from his feuds with Roman Reigns to Edge, and if fans know that he's never going to win huge matches, then eventually they'll just stop caring. Balor is currently in the midst of a Judgment Day breakup, but this isn't exactly making fans care about him or his matches. He needs a vast overhaul in his presentation, a babyface turn is badly needed, and this turn needs to evolve into a new theme song and several credible wins on television. Number 3, Sheamus. One of the most exciting storylines at the start of 2025 focused on Sheamus and the Intercontinental title. This is the title that Sheamus has never won, and he's been pushing to win the title for years. The feud between him and Braun Breaker had so much potential, yet sadly they've moved away from the feud and Sheamus has now bizarrely disappeared from programming. Sheamus has become known for having outstanding TV matches, and why on earth WWE aren't showcasing him is anyone's guess. Sheamus is also a former multi-time world champion and a bona fide future WWE Hall of Famer, so he's a name that could easily slot into the world title hunt, yet Sheamus hasn't touched the main event picture as a single star in years. Hopefully Sheamus can find himself in a key role at WrestleMania 41 as he's universally over with the audience and the former WWE champion deserves to be given the respect he deserves by Triple H and the creative team. Number 2, The Miz. As things stand, The Miz hasn't won a single match in 2025 and this is unlikely to change. The Miz has fallen off to such a degree that the chances of him ever winning the WWE title again are extremely slim, and it's unlikely that the WrestleMania main eventer will even compete for the title again. The Miz is basically a credible jobber to the stars and he's mainly used for 2025 for public appearances. In relation to WrestleMania 41, he's currently set for the roast on Sunday evening of WrestleMania weekend, and based on his current creative, he's not likely destined for a WrestleMania matchup at all. The fan reception to The Miz has greatly shifted over the past few years, especially on social media. In 2016 to 2019, fans were crying out for The Miz to get his flowers, yet in 2025, there's a lot of fans who believe that The Miz's work has dramatically regressed and he's being overshadowed by new members of the WWE roster. And number 1, Austin Theory. The fan outrage when Austin Theory was squashed by Jey Uso on Raw spoke volumes. Theory was once handpicked to be the next face of WWE, yet just 2 years later, he was losing in seconds to a botched spear. What's happening? How the hell do we get to this point? Well, the obvious answer is that Triple H doesn't share Vince McMahon's vision for Theory. McMahon wanted Theory to be the next John Cena, whilst the game wants Theory to be the next, well, glorified mid-carder. When Theory lost his Money in the Bank cash-in on the US title, this was the beginning of the end, as it showed that Triple H didn't even see Theory at the level of a US champion. Over the past 15 months, Theory's been cemented in the tag team with Grayson Waller, and WWE have teased Theory turning babyface so many times that fans have stopped caring about the angle, and if WWE eventually do pull the trigger, it's going to be extremely hard to stay invested. Whilst fan interest in the A-Town Down Under breakup may not be there, there is definitely still a lot of support directed towards Theory, and fans see that Theory has been massively screwed over by the new regime. At the time of this video, Theory being squashed by Jey Uso has a total of 61,000 dislikes on the WWE's YouTube channel. There has been fan outrage of this kind since Cody Rhodes was initially screwed out of the WrestleMania 40 main event by The Rock. But there you have it folks, 10 WWE wrestlers who've had the biggest downfall in 2025. What do you guys think? Are there any others? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.